YouTube.com/Tim Westwood TV. Yo, Tim Westwood TV, Jaja Soze, man.
What's happening,
my
man?
good friend from back in the day, from early days, fam. And it's good that we get an opportunity to catch up, to find out what's up now, but we should also talk about the past as well.
Of course.
Because you go back to those, I mean, you're really the first generation of what we've got now in UK rap, hardcore drill music. You represent like the first generation of that, man, and I think it's important that we salute you for that.
Yeah, so it was at that time, from the coming up from the whole CD cassette, tape cassette days and just the whole street vibe. So at the time it was a struggle. But to look back now, I'm like, it was kind of a blessing as well to be part of that first kind of breakthrough of the scene. But also the scene wasn't together at times. It wasn't really, you was only the only one. Remember, it was like UK pop Westwood. That's it. There wasn't really a lot of DJs, or it wasn't like the scene wasn't like how it is now. Remember, there's no platforms so it was kind of it was harder. So I think some people say we was a bit too ahead of our time with certain things that we was had. I remember putting out mixtapes like bam bam, like 5 mixtapes here, 5 mixtapes there. People was like, whoa, like it was too much. Yeah, it was too much. I think it was too ahead of our time at when we first came, but it was all good.
Like, you really fed the streets, and the streets had mad love. Yeah. You held down Brixton like no other.
Of course. Yeah, that was the thing. Like, them days was like, a lot of people, because we were, it was a whole Feltham thing, was young. I remember being Feltham when I was like 15, 16, and the whole week listening, everything's about Saturday when it's Westwood. That was the whole thing, and we was on the exercise yard writing, and that was kind of the first kind of time I started taking it seriously. I think it was Aylesbury Prison, and we was all in there, and it was like, I'll listen to Westwood, I'll listen to your show late at night, and now I'm like, raw vibes. You was on the show them times with, I think Freddie Daly used to be on there.
Freddie used to
come on there, and there's other people who used to come up there, and then, I was just like, I was in there with some vibes in, and then that's when we kind of said, you know what, when I come out, I'm gonna do the music thing properly. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Salute you,
That's what I'm saying. That's what it was like. I remember you used to have like, who was up there one time? I think did you have DMX or someone up there? You had someone up there like, this is someone you had on the show, and I was like, from that show, I was like, yeah, that's it. I'm gonna start taking this seriously. And then I think at that point, everyone was like, nah, UK rap can't go nowhere, and it's not gonna get nowhere, and you should do jungle, or you should do this. And I was like, nah, we're gonna rap about the culture, that kind of way of living on our estates. And that, I think a lot of people just kind of talk to that, because at the time a lot of people weren't speaking about like actual estates in London, like how they're living on the estate. So when we kind of done that, it was like, wow. And that's why I think a lot of people respected us at that time. And it was good. It was hard, but it was a big thing. And then obviously I think we came so hard that people wasn't ready for it as well, because some of the stuff we was talking about, people wasn't ready for that. Like, I was like, wow, these guys, it's a bit intimidating. Yeah, it was a bit intimidating. I remember turning up to places and we had no bad intentions to cause violence or anything, but we just wanted to perform. But because there was so much of us, and at that time no one wasn't used to that kind of look, so we was getting banned from shows and banned from venues for not even doing anything, but just because we looked intimidating. And so that kind of going through all that was like a struggle, but it is what it is.
I remember a show that you guys did as PDC, and I remember like in Birmingham and like 60 cars turned up.
Mad.
Do you know what I mean?
Mad.
Like 60 cars.
Mad. Yeah, it was because it was at the time, because it was new. I remember driving on the motorway and we'd have seen cars pull up next to us. We're coming. I'm like, who's that? Where you not from? Nottingham, Manchester. Wow, like we're just driving and people just coming on. So by the time we get to the destination, there's like 100 cars. And it's like loads of people from all over, like Manchester, Birmingham, London, everyone's just there. Like at that time, that was the only thing on the streets that people felt they could be part of. Yeah, a movement that they could be part of, like was doing music as well. So, but they wanted to be a part of it, and obviously it wasn't like they had no bad intentions, but what that was doing, people from the outside looking at us was like, oh, this is too much. Like, it looks a bit scary. They associate with like the American vibe. And I think at that time, the UK wasn't ready for that whole American squad, like the whole squadded up thing, loads of cars, loads of money, jewelry. It was a bit of a shock to the system at the time. But yeah, we played it was good. We had some good times though, traveling up and down, and we had love all over the place. And remember those days we had to sell the CD physical, like, so we be jumping out of cars selling CDs. Yo, we got CDs, £5, selling CDs. And I remember going somewhere with, like, places, and we're selling like 1,000 CDs, like leaving there selling 1,000 CDs and going on the motorway counting money. And yeah, that was a kind of vibe back then when there's no YouTube. So that was like,
I mean, those £5 CDs, people don't understand those. That was like a real street hustle.
That was a hustle.
There would be people out in Brixton High Street, outside Red Records, hustling like that. Oxford Street, hustling like that.
Hustling. I remember being on Oxford Street and then coming outside dark and cold and on the strip, and we're just walking up and down and we're shot in the CDs. We was moving like he was selling drugs, like moving like everyone, yo, CDs, playing the tunes from stereos, and people come up to us and buying it, and it was like a proper hustle. But so this generation wouldn't know about that hustle.
Exactly.
But yeah, that was it was a different ball game.
Oh, and people were feeding. There was like a generation of artists just feeding off their CDs, man.
It was serious. That was people was really eating off that. Like, people was going shopping with their CD money. Like, it was serious. Like, you had to them times to get anywhere, you had to sell the CDs, or you wouldn't make no money. You had to. And then remember those days, and this I keep telling everyone, see now you can do that video for like 150 or whatever, £200. Those days videos are like £5,000. £5,000, £10,000 standard. You couldn't get a video for £150.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
And you'd get no play, and you'd get no play anywhere.
There was no play. It was serious.
There
was no love. Like, it was a different ball game. Like, the industry was like, it was serious.
There was a lack of love, man.
Lack of love. It was it was a lack of love.
All he got was a fight down, no love.
Exactly.
Man.
So there was like probably like 4 radio stations where you could get your song on it, if you're lucky, and that was it. Apart from that, it's like you have to go to them. But the pirate stations did play a big part in the build up. The pirate stations had our back of 400, like, so they used to pump us, and that's how we got kind of known, because the pirate stations, they were showing us mad love. Like, we was just getting played all over the place, all over the UK, and I was actually shocked. We got a show one time in Paris. I was down there with a couple of the Paris goons, and I was out there, and then people was coming to me saying, "Hey, Jaja." I was like, raw. That's when I realised how big of an impact we had made. Like, it was in Paris, people knew who I was. And I was like, raw, I didn't know the buzz spread it that far. So we was getting mad love in Paris and everywhere in Europe. And I didn't know that what was happening. People was getting the mixtapes from over here and going back to their countries and playing the mixtapes and burning them.
Yes, of course,
And bootlegging the CDs.
The bootleg of the bootleg.
The bootleg was serious.
Nothing wrong with that, man.
But it was love.
Everyone would be eating off you eating,
exactly.
man.
So it was cool. Like, we didn't mind that. I was happy with that.
Yeah.
So the bootleggers spread our music everywhere, and then it was mad.
And what was important to understand, if you didn't get the CD, you didn't have the music.
That's it.
If you didn't have it's not like you could go and just get it like that when you wanted it, how you wanted it.
That's it.
If you didn't have the CD, you didn't have the music. If you didn't have the cassette, you didn't have the music.
The cassette ones was worse. If you didn't have that cassette, you was out the game. You wasn't even in the game with that. You wasn't cool or nothing. That was serious. Like, there's no sending it. Like, you have to go and burn the copy, the tape. That's it. And the same for the CDs. If you didn't have the CD, people wasn't borrowing you their CD. They was like, nah. That's it. You got to go and get your own, mate. It was serious. It was like, that was
serious.
it.
Yeah,
it was serious.
That's all it was. Yo, and motherfuckers would be serious, like, yo, what's that? What's that? Tell me, what's that?
Yeah.
They wanted it.
A new track will come out, or a new person, a new freestyle or something like that. It was a new vibe, and so that time there was the era was it was a good era to be a part of. It was a struggle, but it was also a good era to be a part of. I'm saying it was a good era. That whole build up, the journey, and seeing the scene grow into what it is now is a beautiful thing. Like, when I look at the MCs now, I'm like, when I see them like doing big things and doing shows where it's like 10,000 people, I'm like, wow. I probably see it differently from everyone else, because I saw when it was building up. Yeah, so I look at things like, wow, and I got like full respect for all the young ones that are coming through now, doing mad shows, getting signed, making money, that they can move out their neighbourhoods and they're doing something better now. So I got loads of respect for that whole kind of come up now.
But you were the first one to really put it on for the hood. I mean, you put it on for Brixton, you put it on for Hazeltown, but you were the first one repping the hood, because where UK hip hop was, like, street guys would be into jungle, and then street guys would be into garage. But like, as like UK rap, the other rappers were talking about, well, I don't know what they were talking about, because they weren't talking to us.
There was a lot. There was rappers. There's a few now and again, but there was like, I tell you what, there was a crew there was 57th Dynasty. They was around at that time. I think SAS just was coming out at that time as well. So there was only.
But that was late. That was later.
Those crews were later. That was later. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's what I'm saying to you. So
like a generation later.
That's what I'm saying to you.
When you put it on.
So that was later. So I remember the first cassette tape that we had though. That was like, wow. It had a big impact, and I was like, wow, like, so we did put on a lot of stuff. But you know what it was, I think just being part of the generation, and that kind of whole upbringing and the vibe, the social kind of vibe in the streets was different at the time as well. There was a different respect and a different vibe of community, sense of community, and the whole thing was different at the time. So we were just reflecting that, and a lot of people felt that reflection and said, you know what, they are actually talking about real life issues, like our mums crying, or it was just like English pain, like from London, British, and the people was like, wow. I'm saying, but even though, because I kind of came with the whole American, I was like in American accent, but talking about British things. So I think that was fascinating to people. Like, right, it sounds American, but it's like they're talking about British stuff. Like they're mentioning names like, they're saying like Shepherd's Bush and Brixton and Hackney and Tottenham. They're just talking about local areas that we live in, and they're saying local things, and that's what brought the whole fan base to us.
So that was, now, what was the original lineup of PDC?
You had
as a rap group.
The rap group. There was two phases. The first one was me, Montana, Birdie and Quinny. That was the first main four ones. That's when it was cassette days. And Lady Gotti. That was the first five of us when it was cassette. Then we went prison, we came out, and then we had a CD. The CD one was me, Birdie, Quinny, Jaja Soze, Shaq Corleone, Inches, it was Sharos, Devious, who else was there? K-Nuts, KC, who else have I forgotten? Oh, there was around. That was the main, Those were like around, the main set was like, after that was like around 15 main rappers. Yeah, 15 main rappers, and then we had the 15 main rappers, and then we had like because PDC was like two branches. You had the rappers and you had the street crew.
Yeah, the street.
So you had the guys on the streets. So you had like on the streets, you had like Biker and a whole nother set of people, Sykes, Shug, and a lot of other people that was on the streets. So it was like double bubble. So you had the rappers doing a thing, and then you had the street crew.
Exactly.
So it was like every minute.
PDC, full baby.
Fully. So you're hearing PDC from both angles. You heard it from the street angle, and you heard it from the music side.
Yeah.
So it was like a big impact.
The reputation was notorious.
Yeah. So that's why it got so big. Yeah, it got massive. From there, man.
And it's interesting, like the first lineup, which was the cassette generation, and then after prison it was the CDs.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. So it went from all the generations. We walked through them for the cassette, and I remember going to the studio, and there was a big reel that you had to put on the thing. Yeah, I've got that now. Enough people can't even. I can get you a mixtape and it's on a reel.
Yeah,
I say, look at that. Enough people can't say that. I got mixtape on a reel. I still got our old cassette tapes, the actual cassette tapes that we first done our tracks on. So that kind of transition was a good one. Then the YouTube came. Then when it went to YouTube, we was like, it was a MySpace and a YouTube, and it was MySpace first, and then we was like transitioning. Then I started seeing the change come through, and then I started seeing the grime started coming in. Then you had like the grime guys was pushing a lot of work in, like you had the Wileys and the Skeptors was coming through, and Dizzy Rascal was doing his thing, and they was kind of bringing their kind of vibe through at the same time. And then so I kind of was watching the scene just get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, and it's like it was a good thing. But I think a lot of the artists, even at that time, there was some rappers that I think if they had got more support from the UK industry, they would have been bigger.
Without a doubt.
Yeah, I still feel like now there's a lot of rappers in the UK that we got some really good rappers. I think a lot of them got left out because the scene wasn't ready. Yeah, the industry wasn't built, so there wasn't a lot of people. Yeah, I think that. So a lot of good rappers that I look and I think, well, that was a waste of talent. Like some really good rappers that I think could have been on like Meek Mill level and those levels easily. Yeah.
And what the opportunity is now is this do-it-yourself.
Yeah.
So you don't need that industry which never supports, show no love.
Exactly.
And when they did show you love, they just fucked you up. Fucked it up.
Exactly.
But whereas now that do-it-yourself effort, do your own videos, get your own music out there, get your own love and support. That's why everyone's winning, man.
Yeah. Now it's not. Now you can upload.
Now you don't need the industry.
You don't need no one. Now you can put your own song on iTunes.
Yeah, the industry
make a video.
Down, man. The industry's laid down from day.
Exactly. So that's what it is. The industry. Like from now, they got the platforms to do it yourself. Now kids are winning. Now there's kids that are just winning. Like they're making mad money. Like they got the mad views. Like they're making money just from YouTube alone. Like just from their views on their own channel. So I know some kids that are winning right now. They're doing. They got PRS. They're eating. Everything's. It's a different ball game now. So you can eat different. You can do your shows. You can do your university tours. You can do. There's just so much more now that you can get in. And man, it's the scenes. It's a whole different ball game now. Yeah.
So PDC as a street crew, really was a descendant of the original 28s.
Yeah, so the 28.
So the first game was the 28s, original 28s, and they lasted for generations. You had the youngers, you had the younger 28s, the younger 28s, the younger 28s. That was foundation.
Yeah, that was it. So you had like those other crews that had Untouchables, and before that was Raiders, and then
Raiders from Junction.
Yeah, Raiders was Raiders from Brixton. Raiders from there's Brixton and other places, but
you had the Peckham boys,
Peckham,
and you had the Muslim boys.
That was all afterwards. So and then you had
afterwards.
And
but
then you had
28s was
and they had Junction. That's where like Mega and them like So Solid come from. So you had the same. There's a lot. There wasn't back then. Remember, there wasn't like a lot of crews as it is now.
There was not a lot of gangs. There was not a lot of gangs.
There wasn't a lot of them. So
what gangs there were powerful. Gangs.
So you had like some sets in Tottenham, some like sets in Hackney. Then in South you had like Peckham, Brixton and Clapham. That was the main areas in South London. That was it. There wasn't really no one else. And Ghetto, New Cross. That was the main. Ghetto. That was the main. That was the main areas. And
the Ghetto boys.
We just from that kind of stem. It was like the 28s was the main. 28s was one of the main kind of crews in South London. Yeah. And then you had the 28s, and you had the younger 28s and younger 28s. And then after that, you went to PDC.
Yes.
So some of the people that was in 28s was in PDC as well. So then it was branched into PDC, and then we kind of, I think it was what everyone else was doing after they done the street crew. No one ever came with a business idea, so that's why it kind of faded out. I was the only one that kind of came and said, you know what, let's kind of do something different. And that's why I think we made such a bigger impact, and we're still around today, because I turned it from a crew. Crews can only last so long because everyone gets old and they change, and you have kids and
and not only that, sometimes dramatic things happen.
Exactly.
I remember like 28s, you know, there'd be like a tragic death, and then people would lose heart. You know what I mean?
Yes, I'm saying to you,
you've lost your brethren, and you're grieving, and you suddenly ain't repping because you're going through that tragedy, man.
So a lot of friends died. A lot of friends get life in prison, and you kind of get disheartened, and you start kind of looking for different routes out. Like, you know what? Let me maybe make a change. But I think with PDC, we made the most like dramatic change where they say, you know what, let's change it into a business, so then we can do something a bit more, so we can change the dynamics, get some money and do different avenues. And I think that's what made a bigger impact with the I think that's when the media started seeing the transition, that's when they jumped on me and then started saying, raw, like, this is fascinating. And I think the media was fascinated with how it was associated with a crew and a gang, and then it went to a business structure. I think that's always fascinated the public, like how in America they did it all the time, but over here it wasn't heard of. So that's why I think they was always fascinated with PDC and the story behind it, because there's a whole story behind the whole journey. I think that's what kind of people have always been fascinated with PDC, about the journey. Yeah.
I mean, 28s was a notorious crew.
Yeah,
I mean, notorious. I mean, Angel Town at that was like a no-go area. I mean, Brixton was a different town in that era. Brixton like, it was a front-line town, you know what I mean?
Because Brixton's always been that place. It's that culturally, Brixton was always that place where if you go there for either like weed or
crack
or to buy food, or
the market,
the market, it's always
Brixton's a culture.
Brixton was that cultural hub. So, and there was a lot of like dominant families and that big reputation families, that just normal families that was in Brixton. So that Brixton's always had that drive where people just want to go Brixton, just want to go and see, and just go to Brixton. And I think we just continued that off from the 28 era. A lot of them went to prison, and some of them died and whatnot. And then the younger ones followed the same route. And then with PDC, it was kind of like, PDC was like, at the beginning, it was like some of the older 28s was with PDC as well, and then some of the young new ones, and we kind of branched off and made a whole new movement. But it's just the business side of it. The old style of it wasn't working. Like, see how crews were set up before? As a young youth, I always noticed that, you know what, this is not being progressive. Like, everyone's ending up dead or in jail.
Without a doubt.
So I was like, you know what, this is like, no, I don't see no one being millionaires.
That ain't a career.
Yeah, that's not a career. Because I used to always think, you know what, who's the millionaires out of this? So I'm thinking, well, there's no millionaires, so it can't be like, this is not very progressive if there's no millionaires. I don't see no one. The guys that I know, some of the hardest guys on the block, they're just broke. So I was like, that's not cool. I'm like, that's not cool. That's after all that, you just end up being just a normal guy on the road broke. That's not cool. So that's kind of the idea clicked to, like, no, we gotta make a change. We gotta do something. we got this like big reputation and this power on the streets. Like now let's use it, utilize it, and do something better. And that's when the idea for the business came in, and that's when we just started doing. Since then, I've like opened up not-for-profit companies, and I've done loads of different stuff now with mentoring, and now it's kind of like branched to a whole nother level. And that's what it was. That's the intention. So we can now make some millionaires. So people from the streets now can have the opportunity to become millionaires and do better things for their families, and then add more benefit to their communities instead of, because obviously we've terrorized our communities for a long time. So I'm saying to everyone, now let's try and fix it, and let's be a better let's have a better impact on our communities. So that was a whole PDC drive, what was behind it. I'm saying to you, so yeah, let's change it up real quick.
I mean, it's good reminiscing, because like sometimes I'm not with those old guys to reminisce, you know what I mean? But I mean, definitely big up, like, you know, Freddie was my road dog, man. I mean, me and Freddie was like brethrens in there. There was Rat Security. In those
old school.
days.
Yeah, they're saying that's the old school. You know? And as little when we was little, they used to have like all the big dances.
These were the big men.
They were the big men. We was little. I was young them times, and going to any dance that was like of any relevance. That there'll be Rat Security saying to you, so they will be, or Freddie will be at the door.
Freddie would be at the door.
And Freddie was big.
Yeah.
So I'm saying to you, so you don't want no problems with Freddie at the door. Exactly, you know what I'm saying. So, you know what I'm saying to you. So that was that generation. And we was little kids.
The likes of Nasty Love.
Yeah. Brixton, the sound system thing was big. The sound system era was a big thing. That was a big part of the Brixton culture, the sound system era. That was massive. I'm saying, so you had all the old school sounds and the old school MCs that was chatting on the sound systems, and that was a big part of that. We grew up with that in us. That's why I think people always say, well, something different about people from Brixton and South London is because that culture we grew up with. It's like it's embedded in us. That kind of sound system, in kind of that it's like heavy sound system cultural influence is embedded into our music.
And there was I mean, in that era you could do so much more. So there was like Stockwell Park Estate Community Hall, Myers Field, there was the Bogle Factory, there was the Dole Office.
Like they had Brixton Vox.
Exactly.
Yeah, so saying there was a lot. We had a lot of spots where a lot of other areas didn't have so much of the community vibe like that, like where there was dances and. There was
Brixton Fridge doing chilling on a Sunday afternoon.
Exactly. I'm saying, so that I remember playing them. I used to do that. I'm saying, so I remember there's a whole thing. I used to do an event called Kid Cartel that used to be with Chilling as well, and I started doing the first biggest under 18s events called Kid Cartel.
That's right.
I'm saying to you, so I said, there's a lot of stuff that we was doing at that time where we was trying to create the scene. At the time, we was always been trying to build and add on to the scene, and a lot of MCs came from that scene. Then a lot of them, I remember a lot of artists now that are doing well. I remember them when they was little kids, like at my under 18s events. Like, can I get in for free, Judge? I need a ticket, please. Like, I remember now they're doing good things, and so yeah, man, it's good. It's good to see the growth and saying and what it's come from. Because a lot of the stuff, even a lot of the kids now that are doing stuff, they don't know that it stemmed from a lot of the 28 kind of era and the PDC era. Yeah, that's where a lot of the stuff from South London, Brixton stemmed from, and other areas stem from, like the Ghetto Boys or Junction Boys.
Because they were the young kids
coming up. So when it had from Junction stemmed So Solid, and they had a big impact on the UK scene, and they came from Junction. I'm saying, so, and then you had you had Peckham, that's Gigs. I'm saying to you, so, but then you had New Cross, that's got loads of people. You got Corleone, you got loads of people from that whole GB side thing. They had PDC from Brixton, so that was like the main set of crews, and we had a big impact, and we did so out of the whole cruise. That was just in South. I'm saying, so that's the big impact we made from our little circle. But yeah, man, it's a good. Gigs done a good job on coming through, and he kind of took it where we kind of like started off and we got kind of blocked. He kind of came through and took it to the next level again. Yeah, so I always big up Gigs because he made like people start listening.
He opened the door and showed the blueprint.
Yeah, he came through like, and when Gigs came through, like he came through like where people had to say, "Whoa, was that the UK?"
Yeah.
Like Gigs came, he kind of made that noise like
because
we needed.
Honest, before then it couldn't be done.
It
couldn't be done. Man.
Gigs made that noise.
When you hit your ceiling, there was nothing you could do.
No way. When we got to Orbit, we got like I remember we got to a point, you know, when PDC was coming to our prime, you know, the police started raiding the shops for our CDs. That's never been heard of. Like police raiding record shops for CDs and saying to the shops, you can't sell these CDs. Yeah. Like that's when you know things are deep. Like it got to that point where like the record shops are phoning me saying, "Raw, Judge, the police came in." I was saying, "What? Police? What are you phoning me for?" They came just for your CDs, like PDC albums and mixtapes. What? Why? We can't not sell them. What? Why?
Yeah, the fight down was like
they shut us down on that level. Yeah, shut us down. And I was going to venues. I remember going to venues, just to go like see like an artist. I went to the Nas concert one time just to go. I went there, and at the door, I had my ticket, everything. Went to the door. Police came. You can't come in. What? What are you talking about? Like, yeah, you're not allowed to go in. You're on high risk. Some on some list. Couldn't go in the venue. So they basically banned me from every single venue in the UK. Like, I was banned for like around 4 years.
Yeah.
I couldn't go to I couldn't just go into no venues like they're saying. So they done that for a long time. That kind of shut us down. That kind of made other people get scared of us. I'm saying, so that's like it was. I went to an interview the other day. I went BBC Asia Network, and the guys told me when he first tried to play my track, the boss come down and said, no, you can't play PDC. Like, you're not allowed to. And that's a fight that we had. So, and I think at that time, we just got a lot of the rappers that was around PDC, they got disheartened. Like, everyone was like, raw. It was disheartening at the time because
like the system.
Yeah, like, raw. How are we gonna beat the system now? So I had to kind of reinvent myself, and I came out with different styles. I came out with a book, and I've done loads of other stuff to reinvent myself, so they could kind of like not be so hard on me. I'm saying, so I had to keep coming from different doors, and they'll keep shutting the doors down on us. And then during that time, because they was like putting their eye on us so much, Gigs was able to come through, and then Gigs made a big noise, bam, and then I was happy that happened, because now we just needed someone to go through.
For real.
You always need someone to go through. I'm saying to you, when someone goes through, you're okay. I'm saying it's like you're fighting a war, and one man gets to the other side clear. You're gonna be happy because then he can go press a button or something and blow everyone up on this. He can do stuff. So one man goes through, you're kind of nice, and then I started seeing more people come through in the scene. The rap was going through. Then I was like, yeah, now we're coming through. And then now people was like saying, now UK rap, and it started getting into like a bit of better identity. And yeah, man, that was a good thing.
When was the change of your ways from like running the streets, running around, getting that street money,
you know what it was,
to suddenly like you want to uplift and you want to do something positive?
You know what it was, there was one time, it's always been in me, because I had a strong Rasta upbringing, so I've always had that kind of cultural vibe in me, the Bob Marley side, and I've always had that side in me. But then there was on the streets, I was just seeing that, you know what, there was no progression. No one was progressing. Like, so all the people that I used to look up to, that was like heavy in the streets, they weren't doing nothing, and there was no progression. I was thinking, you know what, if I can either be a part of one of the notorious gangs on the planet, and we just cause mayhem and terror and die and get locked up and just have a massive name after people write books about a notorious gang. We can do that way, or we can change it and then have a better influence where we can also make money, add stuff to our community platforms like studios and businesses to our community, and still be notorious but in a business way. So that's when I started saying, you know what, I'm gonna try that way. That we've tried. Previous people have tried that way, and I haven't seen nothing working. So you know what, I ain't seen no one try this way. So you know what, I'm gonna try this way. I'm a person that I'm a trier. So I said, no, I'm gonna try this way, and then it started doing good, and then it started making progression with it. And then I think the scene, after a while, the police just stopped. When they saw that I was going illegal and I was learning more and I was doing everything more legal, they just left me alone. So after that, they kind of left me alone, and I was able to do. I started doing the spoken word thing.
Yeah. That resonated.
Yeah, so what
I was so proud when you made the Rockstar Hip Hop, man.
So when I done,
that was like with the respect.
That's saying, and then Americans was hot. And what happened after I started getting bookings everywhere? I got bookings in Barbados, in Europe, and I started getting bookings everywhere again. So I was quiet for a little while, and I come out the spoken word, and then
that spoken word was powerful.
Yeah, it just took off and it touched a lot of people, and so I started getting bookings everywhere, and then I started getting interviews on TV, and then I started getting kind of like more mainstream media attention, and on a positive level this time. So they was letting me through, and then it started getting better for me, and then it kind of started uplifting everyone else, and all the other artists started coming back through again. So yeah, it was.
I mean, PDC, when they were running on the street, man, that was like the drug game.
It was
that was the fucking robbery game.
The robbery game.
That was the extortion game. That was the fucking mayhem. 70 man coming into your party game.
That's how it was.
Do you know what I mean?
That's how it was.
You know, the streets weren't calm places, man.
But you know, because there was a time in I think like the early 93, 94, 95, the 28s, younger 28s, they started doing they was like the first ones robbing the banks. That was at that time, the robbing banks was like, people was like, what, robbing banks? That was like, you don't even go that far. And then the younger 28s, they kind of set that pace for a lot of other young people, like people that wanted to make money, serious money, we kind of followed that pattern. So I followed that pattern. So like younger 20s, like you had people like Quincy and Shortman and all these kind of other names, and they was like they kind of set that pace for like the whole kind of bank robbery era. And the people like myself that followed that era, we kind of started being able to make money and dress fly, Versace and Moschino and that kind of vibe where a lot of people weren't doing that at that age.
Early,
But I was like, them times I must be like around 14 or 15. I'm saying to you, so, and that was serious at that time. Moschino, going to Knightsbridge and living that life, going mad.
Like they would look at you like security following you, and you just be like popping tags, baby.
So that was a serious time. And them times they used to be like the jungle raves that used to be on. There used to be the jungle fever, and they had like things.
Astoria,
there you go, exactly. I'm saying to you that was all the big dances that everyone was going to, and man, I'm saying to you, so
and popping that was when Champers was real big in the dance.
Champers was big them times. But and remember that time as well. It wasn't really about. We didn't grow up on like fighting areas. It was more of like who could make the most money. It was a money thing. It was like who's gonna be making money? Who's making money? Who's looking the flyest? It was a different mindset. It wasn't violent.
Exactly.
Yeah, it wasn't like.
It was all about getting that money. Not like.
It wasn't about like who can shank the most people. No, we wasn't on that. It was about like who can make some money. Let's make some money. Let's drive some nice cars. Let's go Knightsbridge and the shop. And let's go to certain places. Remember those days, a lot of people weren't going to Knightsbridge and certain places, certain shops.
That's like, man.
I say to you, but so it was. We got kind of get into that part there.
A lot of guns on the street at that era as well.
There was guns there. There was a lot of guns. There was a gun. I think the gun era started getting crazy in around like the end of the 90s into the millennium. That's when it was like there was like a gun phase where people was getting shot at outside raves and it started getting a bit mad.
And there was a lot of like shooting up the rave and or letting off gunshots in the rave, which was all just that was no different from a money pull up now or forwards. You know what I mean?
I remember that they had dots that them Sun City was popping, all those big raves was popping off those times, and sometimes you'd be in a rave and you hear bop bop bop. You're like raw. And you look around like guns, and everyone's carrying on dancing. It kind of got norm.
And like the Dole office, the Bogle factory.
That's what I'm saying. So
it was like the Wild Wild West.
That's saying that Bogle factory was before that, and that was wild. Those days was, I think it was. It was only a certain set of people. You always know where that came from, what set of people that came from. It wasn't like now if that went on, you don't know who done it.
Yeah, and you get the fuck out.
Now you be like, no, you know what? Back then you would know. You be like, okay, so it's rare, and he's gonna do that. He's gonna go in a minute. And after that, no one else won't do that.
Yeah,
it's only him. It's only like that set of people that's doing it. But now you don't know who. It could be anyone. You say it could be anyone. It could be Jason, the Asian guy, Scott, the white guy.
Yes.
That it could be anyone now. Now it's different. Now it's different.
Now it's confusing.
Now it's confusing. And now it's everyone's a gangster and everyone's a shooter. It's just gone mad. I'm saying so. That's kind of. But I think it's still good that era, even though it's gone to that way. That's gonna fade out soon, and I think the young people are starting to see that you can make progression now. You can do other things now. Like you can make money. You can actually make 100 grand from music. Now you can make $500,000 from music. You can do things now from music. You can get endorsement deals, sponsorships. Now they're starting to see that you can do that.
And you're not relying on industry. You can do it yourself.
Yes, you can do it yourself.
Bring your man in to help you. Bring your own team in.
Exactly. You can do anything you want now.
The whole crew can eat.
Exactly. Now they're seeing that.
And now
you're
doing music crews.
Exactly. So people are making their own brands of clothing now, and like there's so much going on. Like, back in the days, if you could make your own clothing, like that wasn't even heard of. Like that, you had to be have a lot of money to even think of getting your own T-shirt designs and all that. It was a big thing. Now people are doing that. That's normal. Now people are creating their own markets, and man, it's a good thing. It's definitely, man. It's good, man.
So the book, man. It's not fun about the book. It's still got mine. So, you know what I mean? I respect that. I need you to sign this, fam. I need you to see this, man.
Of course. You
know what I mean? And, like, that is aspirational for me, man. For you to have a book. You know what I mean?
Trust me.
And a top seller and a hood book. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. So I'm saying to you.
How much is you in this? That's
a true story. It's what happened in the book now. So what happened? Me and the guy Tim Pritchard, he's an author. He was working with Channel 4 at the time, I think, and then we come together, and then he was like interview based writing. So what he done? He spoke to each of us. So he spoke to me, got my story. Spoke to Fat Sai, got his story. Spoke to Inch, he's got his story. Spoke to Birdie, my brother, Temp Man. Spoke to all the man them and got their stories. And then we sat down and kind of compiled it together in a story for the whole story from when I came from Birmingham all the way to London. And I'm saying to you, people are always fascinated that how come you came from Birmingham and you had such a big influence in Brixton. People have always been fascinated by that story, and he just put that in the book, the whole journey, how I got to Brixton and how I made an influence and how we all met, and that's what the book was about. So yeah, man, it was we got a massive. That was I went to when that book came out, we done good. It was like W. Smith's bestseller. I went to the awards, the book festival in Wales. Wow. And that was a culture shock to me.
Yeah.
Because I was just in Wales in some village and it was like loads of these like old kind of white people and then authors and all that. And I was like, what? It was like, oh, Jaja. And I'm like, it was a culture shock to me. Like, I didn't know how to even react. I didn't even know how to speak to some of the people. I was like, raw, like, I was saying to my friends, like, raw, like, well, what do we do here? Like it's a different culture, like it's different, and I wasn't used to it. But they embraced me and they showed me love. I was getting loads of ratings from the whole book community. I've done a tour, a prison tour. I was going to the prisons talking. The book. That must
have been crazy for you to be the other side.
Imagine the other side.
And then you finish the talk and then you walk out the gate.
I walk out and I'm saying that to him.
Walk out the gate, man.
Listen, I went to one prison and I saw the officers. One of my personal officers that was used to like when I was in there, he was my personal officer. And I'm saying to him, he's like, Raw Kerr. That's what he called me. That's my second name, Kerr. He's like, Raw Kerr, how you doing? I'm like, Raw, look at that now. I'm going home today though.
Yeah, for real.
I said, I'm going home today though. You get me?
Man.
I'm visiting,
man.
I'm visiting.
How mad is that?
Yeah, man.
Yo, man.
Trust me.
And you done a fair amount of bids.
Yeah, man. So I done 2 bids. Like the main ones I went to jail when I was 15, nearly 16. I come out when I was like 18. Then I went back in again when I went back in 2002. Came out 2004. When I came out, it was like the Channel U era. And that's when we kind of the Channel U was popping, and that's when the West End thing and selling CDs, and that's when that whole kind of era started again. So yeah, so the bid thing, the jail was just like a waste of time. Like the jails, the second time I went in, that's when I realized, you know what, this is a waste of time. I'm not coming back here again. That's when that really kicked in. Like, you know what, I was in jail of a lifer, and then he was saying to me like he's never seen his kids or no one again. And I was like, nah, you know what, nah, that's end game over. Like, yeah, that's too much. Like when you start seeing people like that. And he used to be on the streets like he was like the guy, he was the man. He was like everyone, like you had everyone scared of you, whatnot, but you're just in jail doing life. After all that's not cool. Like to me, that's not cool. I'm like, I like to travel and I like to go abroad and I like nice things. So being in jail life and saying like wanking over little Kim pictures and that, like for the rest of your life, like that's not cool, fam. So that's why I was like, nah, this is. That's when my head started. I said, you know what, I need to start thinking of different things to do, because otherwise I'm gonna keep coming back here. And then yeah, I got friends that's doing life as well. Like I got close family members that are doing life, and yeah, that whole life there is not worth it. That's just not worth it.
I mean, DVS caught some time as well, man, and like very like sad. Yeah. It's just sad. Like a very just a sad moment.
Yeah, that's how with that. The saying with that one is just it shocked me as well. Like how it shocked everyone else. Like wow, like how do you even? And then for me, how do you even speak on those kind of things? Like it's like raw, because it's deep. Like we're so against certain things, and then you go to jail for that as well. So it's kind of like on our side, it's kind of hard as well. But with Divas, just got to pray for him and hope that he's safe in jail and he just comes out a better person and he just does his thing again, continues to be progressive. That's what you can say for DV. But obviously it was a shock to all of us. Yeah, it was a shock. And
it feels like drugs played a major part in what happened.
I don't even know. I don't think it was drugs. You know, I just think, you know what, I think that's the stresses. I think everything that's got caught up. I think everything that he was going through in life, that has been going through his whole life, and then added on with the fame and just everything together, I think that just caught up to him. I think everything that's caught up to him, and that's all I can put it down to. A lot of things caught up to him, like, because Divas has been through a lot of stuff as well. But I think with the kind of fame side added on pressure of the music industry, all that stuff together, I think that was just too much. I personally think that it was too much, and yeah, that's what it is. I think he just let out the anger on the wrong person. Yeah, he just let that on the wrong person. That's all I think was.
I mean, heartbreaking, unforgivable.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm saying so.
We're not excusing.
Yeah, not exactly.
But like, it's sad to see my man go that way.
Of course, it's sad. It's sad. After
everyone loses, man.
It's saying everyone loses, and that's what I'll say to people. Like, even if Davey took an L and we take an L with him, because we like saying you like my little brother, so I take an L with you. So it's like raw. Even though people know that raw, that's not enough to do with me, or I don't go that road. I still took an L with you. I'm saying I still got to do interviews. Like, they still got to speak to people, and I still got to talk.
Looks terrible on the brand.
Yeah, so I still exactly. So I still got to talk about it, and it's like, but there is what it is, and I've taken L's like that my whole life, like with friends, and there are things like that as well. So it's like, what do you do? Saying it's got to say, you know what, hope, pray for you and hope you're going to be safe, and you change your mentality. And that's all you can do.
Yeah, and that's some hard jail time
that's
to
what you
do
got.
as
Yeah,
well,
you
man.
got to
That's
say
some
so.
hard jail time.
It's just that's what it is. That's all it is. And it's just like I speak because I do a lot of mentoring with young people, and I always speak to young people, and now they can see. I say, these are prime examples of why you need to get your game together and your act together, and be careful what you're doing, because something could flip any time. I'm saying to you, a lot of these young kids, they just got this gangster thing. I'm saying, you know what? Be careful what you're doing, that, because in what you do, you start creating this ego gangster thing, and then it could flip at any time. It's like, was it Jekyll and Hyde? And when the madman comes out, sometimes you can't control it, because you've been creating it for so long. When the madman comes out, you can't control it. And a lot of these kids, I think they're gonna go on that same road where they're gonna create the Jekyll and Hyde, and they won't be able to handle it. And that's what I think happened as well. Same thing in the Devious situation. Same thing, just snap, and it's like, well, you're out of control with the character you're creating. Yeah, so it's just be very careful of what you're trying to create and put into the world. Yeah, man.
Yeah, because the Mr. Hyde of Devious was notorious.
That's what I'm saying. So that's what I'm saying. So
From day one.
I'm saying. So you got to be careful of just putting it out there. I'm saying, and Devious is apart from that case there, put that aside. He's a cool guy. When you get to know him, he's a cool guy. I'm saying, so he's a cool guy. He's a dope artist. I'm saying to you, the dope artist. I've always had, from growing up, I've always said, you know what, I believe Devious could be one of the biggest artists. He could have got to like the kind of like big American levels where a lot of those rappers are. He could have got to that, but his work rate sometimes was a bit lazy sometimes. But he had that talent, and he could have got bigger.
Yeah, and also a lot of men had distractions as well. They had to get money as well.
That's what I'm saying to you. So
like sometimes they couldn't. Yeah,
that's what it is as well, man.
You're doing the mentoring, and that's really core of what you're about as a person now. And like, you as a mentor is somebody who's been out in these streets and run these streets and run them hot for a long while, and then done the music thing, turned your life around. What would you say to, like, what is the message you're getting across to young people?
All I'm saying to young people, the street culture that a lot of them are getting involved in, they don't. People like myself, we done the kind of the hard graft bit, the street kind of bit where we was going to jail and robberies and that. We done the hard bit. So a lot of the kids don't need to do that no more. That's why, and I think a lot of them still think they think to be in a certain situation, they've got to have like a story of street cred.
Yeah.
That you don't have
Some
to have
war
that.
stories.
Yeah, they think they have to have war stories to go with. You don't have to do that, because the people that before you, the elders before you, have already done that fight.
Exactly.
So you don't need to do it. That's what I'm saying to you.
They've got their war stories.
Yeah, so they've got their one, so you don't have to do it. So I always used to see it as like people, the elders before me, they went through certain things. They went through rioting and they went through marching, and they done certain things. So I didn't need to do that. So now I've got to take it to the next stage that they didn't get to do. And then now the youngers that coming up under me, they can take it to the next stage that I don't get to. And you're supposed to be moving forward. You're not supposed to be doing something that's old school back. It doesn't make sense. Like, you're going backwards. You should be going forward. And I told the kids now, you know what? It's cool. It's not cool to be going to jail. That's not cool. And doing licenses or dying or whatever. That's not cool. Cool is if you have a business. Make your first million before 30 or 35 or whatever.
Make it legitimate. So
make it legit. Yes, yeah. I'm saying to you, buy your mum one of those crazy cribs abroad somewhere. Like, these things are cool. Educate your children. I'm saying, educate yourself. This is what's cool. I'm saying to you, what you're thinking is cool is not cool. I'm saying to you, and that's what I'm trying to show the young people out there now. Like, don't get caught up into the street life. What you're seeing, it's not cool. And most of the little kids now that are rapping, that are doing their little gangster stuff, when they go to prison, a lot of them just end up crying and that. Like, I'm saying that a lot of people don't see the behind the scenes. Like, everyone always sees like the jail pictures and the war stories, but no one sees behind the scenes. Like, in jail, I see people crying on the phone all the time, like these so-called gangsters, like crying on their girlfriends left them, they're crying. Like, saying, so no one ever talks about the behind the real story. And that's what I try to tell the kids, don't follow the hype. Trust me, build. I'm saying all the guys that I knew that I was in school with, and they was classes like the Nike guys or whatever, those guys are like millionaires now. They're living. I'm like, now they're the cool guys, and now you're like, raw. That guy's a cool guy. The guy you thought was a neek or a nerd, he's a cool guy. And the guy you thought was a bad boy, he's actually on the streets a bum, and no one respects him no more. So that's what I'm saying to you. You have to realize what's happening. Like, it's not that bad boy thing doesn't get nowhere. No one out of it. There's probably like, out of 100, like 2 people probably change their life and do something good out of all the bad boys, and the rest of them just end up on like crackheads or in jail or dead. That's it. Or just bums with like 50 kids. I'm saying to you that baby mothers all over the place. That's how they end up. I'm saying so.
And they're hectic. They're running ragged.
And then their kids now are running hectic now because they can't look after their kids are running chaos on the streets. And that's what I'm trying to say to them. That is not cool. So I'm saying to you, so what's cool? Go and look after your families. Start building some businesses. Educate yourself. Learn. I'm saying it's cool. You know, a lot of kids think that it's not cool. It's not cool to get a job. Are you mad? Of course, go and get a job. Build something. Go and make some money for yourself. Start your career. I'm saying to you, if you need to get a job to balance out your career before it kicks off, do that. And that's cool. You're cool to do that. You don't need to be bad. That's cool. And that's what a lot of kids, I think, the peer pressure is like. A lot of kids are thinking, okay, I want to do music. I want to be a producer. I want to be a cameraman. I want to do something, but I need to make money in the meantime. But I don't want to get a job because I don't want it to be like I'm not cool. And that's where I think that there's a big peer pressure thing that I'm trying to say, you know what, we need to kind of smash that kind of whole thought process. And it is cool to want to get a job while you're trying to build something. You can get a job. You don't have to all sell drugs. Like, it can't be a million of us selling drugs. You end up selling drugs to each other. They're saying everyone's selling drugs now. I'm saying, does it make sense? Like, there's like...
Yeah, who's the plug?
Exactly. Who's the plug now? Like, Zayn, like, well, who's who? Like, now there's like 50 people and you're all weed sellers. How? Like, it doesn't make sense. Someone go and get a job or someone go and do something else. Like, we actually need more people to do different things. And that's my argument. I always show them, you know what? Progression's the way forward. Like, make progress and do something good that you really like and progress from it. I'm saying, don't get caught up in... You can still be part of the street culture, but make it progressive. Yeah, man, that's my message for all the young people. That's what I basically spread to everyone.
It's good reminiscing, man, because,
yeah, man, of course.
You know me, I was around in that era, the 28 in Brixton, man, playing with Nasty Love and flexing out there with them, man.
That's what I'm saying.
So to see the journey from there to now, man. Definitely big up Angel Town
of course,
as well.
Yeah, that's the place. I'm saying I got my studio down there. I work with a lot of the young people now. A lot of artists still come to my studio and lay it down. And I'm about to open a new studio, another one, a second one soon. And yeah, what I'm saying, I'm making it happen. Yeah.
So if people want to holler at you, what's the best?
People can holler at me. My website www.jajasoze.com, or you can go on the PDC site www.pdcent.com, and all the links to everywhere is on the website. So you can get. I'm easy to contact everyone. I'm easy, like in Instagram or Twitter or the Facebooks and all that. You can holler at me, and I'm there. I'm saying it's all good.
Brother, keep doing your thing.
Fam, of course,
we really respect and like. I know what you was like when you was notorious, so I know everything is real, fam.
Man, it's all good, man.
I know everything is real.
It's all good, man. Trust me. I
know you from them street runners, fam. We was there.
Exactly.
I know what you man represent, and I know what you man has done as artists and laid the foundation to now. And the positivity, man, is what we need.
Exactly. Progress. Feel me?
It's progress, man. The rest of that shit is repetition, man.
Exactly.
The other shit's been done, man. Prison and death has been done.
Exactly.
So my brother,
respect,
I appreciate that.
Love.
Shit, man.
Yeah, man.
Tim Westwood TV. Your hardest in the game, legends live forever. Tim Westwood TV. Make sure you subscribe here and check out these other hot videos because we get it in.